I don't know what average working people are going to do. The price of food is becoming so outrageous that an average, I don't even know how these families with 4, 5, 6 children are making it. And even if you're working and you qualify for food stamps, because I know some people think food stamps are just for lazy bums, but the truth is a lot of working people can still qualify for food stamps if you're working a job that leaves you in the range. See, everybody's all the time saying CMC gets food stamps, but there's no possible way. She says the haters had her food stamps taken away. Well, that's probably true in some regard because she was probably not turning in any income. And someone probably pointed it out, and someone else pointed it out, that she's making all this money. Now, this was probably back when she was still working for these like Avon Unique or whatever and getting all this money from all that, plus all the stuff people were sending her. So she was probably getting food stamps, and she probably wasn't turning in any income, and they caught her up in it, and they cut her off. Probably banned her from ever being able to get them again. So she can't blame the haters for that. See, the point here is she blames the people that pointed it out that didn't let her get away with it. See, those are the vile demons, the people that don't let her get away with this stuff. Because there's some woman or man or a couple out there right now at their jobs collectively not bringing in as much money as she's bringing in. I don't know. I'm like, come out here and check on my dog. She's out here laying in the lounge chair. The sun's not out yet, but she's going to try to get her a suntan today. I don't know Ed's income. I don't know if he's working and getting paid under the table or if he's on Social Security, SSI, or whatever. But what I'm getting at is there are people right now in this country just struggling to get by each week, each month. And we're not talking about bums. We're not talking about dope heads. We're not talking about meth heads. We're not talking about people out here just wanting to be a lazy bum, mooching off of others. We're talking about people getting up every morning, putting their clothes on, and heading out the door to go work whatever job it is, whether it is a high-paying, you could be in a high-paying job, but if you've got student loans, if you've got a car note, if you've got a mortgage, insurance, all these high-priced things, then you have to buy groceries on top of that and gas. You better be in a really high-paying job right now. So this is, I wish that the support people, her followers and her supporters that call us all vile demon haters could see what we're trying to point out is that this woman, you may be sitting in your home right now looking at your bills and thinking to yourself, okay, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay that, I've got to budget. Then I've got to buy food. Then I have to buy gas. Then I have to buy my medicine. I need to set aside so much for this. And then you're sending CMC your money. And she doesn't appreciate it. Did she come back and give you all any content last night? No, we were all watching and we were all saying, watch, as soon as she gets her goal met, she's gone. And she was, within minutes. I would say no more than 3 minutes after she was celebrating. Yay, we did it. She always says we, because that's a narcissist tactic, to include the victim, to make the victim or the victimized or the target feel like they're part of it and that they helped this woman. They were one of the go-getters, as she calls herself. The only thing she's getting is your money while you're doing without. And you may be living on Easy Street. You may have you may have it made. You may be drawing a great big fat check, pension every month. You may be working a big job where you're making a lot of money and you've got extra to throw around and have fun with. But why give it to her as opposed to all of the people out in the world that are like doing good, like people who are working for like Habitat for Humanity, building homes for the people that can't afford their own homes. Money to somebody like that that's out there trying to save humanity, that's trying to feed people. Why don't you go to one of your local churches that has some fundraiser locally? Why don't you give that money to the Shriners hospitals? These children that families cannot afford the surgeries. And some of these children have to have lifetime care. They have to have surgery upon surgery upon surgery. There's always some group of people out there doing good. And you could be given your little bit of money, even if it's 200 stars worth. What is that? I don't know. I've never bought stars, so I don't know. But if you can afford to give her 500 stars or 1,000 or 1,500 stars, whatever little bit of piddling bit of money that is, you could give to some local charity that's really going to do something good with that money. And how many times have we heard her say to people on her live, don't give your money to the Red Cross. Don't give your money to the Red Cross. Don't give your money to this group or that group. Did y'all see what she did to this woman yesterday? Now, a lot of people are saying that that was all set up and that these two were in on this together. But other people showed the obituaries of this woman's family, mom and dad who passed away. But here's my thing on that. Regardless of whether anybody sent this woman any money, that was their decision to do. She said to this woman, you've got a family here with CMC Life, CMC.life. All of us here are your family. We're all here for you to, if you need somebody to talk to. I'm sure my followers will give to you. I'm not going to give you anything because God forbid I should take $1 out of my pocket and help anybody else. But some of these other people might give you some money. And then she blocks the girl. What kind of friend? See, a narcissist does not know how to be anybody's friend. A narcissist only has one friend, and that's their own self. They only care about what they get. They only care about what they eat. They only care about what they wear. They care about how they look, which, I mean, when I say they care about how they look, I'm not necessarily talking about their appearance. I'm talking about how they look, how they manipulate people to look good in other people's eyes. The other person is always to blame. The other person brought this on. The other person, someone else, some group, some organization, some Facebook page or group. Everybody else is at fault. So they want to look, and in her case, she wants to look like this caring woman with a big heart that's willing to help anybody. Oh, bless this girl's heart. She lost her mom and dad, guys. The girl, I don't know that the girl was even coming on there to ask for money. Now, I could be wrong, and she may have been in on this. This may be this whole big setup going on. But I just saw a woman, and like I said, it could have been a big act. But let's assume that it was. For just a minute, let's assume that this woman was really legit. She was just struggling. She was just talking about how hard it was to be alone. It had only been a very short period of time since her parents died, and she was struggling emotionally. And on top of that, she was struggling because probably the first of the month rolled around and her mom and dad were not there with their Social Security checks. So that was her support system, and she said that was all she had was them. She probably lived with them. She probably depended on their money coming in. And now here she was, you know, and she said something about she took a second job or whatever. I don't know, but anyway, telling you. But anyway, what I was talking about was just, um, I don't know why people are surprised or shocked. She's so skilled at what she does, and people just don't understand the the depths. I've talked about this extensively on my YouTube channel. I've talked about it on my Facebook page. I'm no expert, but I have figured this out, I guess, for myself, having lived through it. And anybody else out there that has been face to face involved personally with a narcissist can tell you that you would not even, I mean, you will be shocked in the beginning, but once you start to figure it out, they will go to any lengths to get what they want. They will make up any kind of lie, any kind of sad story, any kind of hero story. And why do people act shocked that she's got a new car? I mean, I don't know if it's brand new, but it's new to her. Why are people shocked by that? You saw the numbers that she posted up on the screen, almost $40,000. And what month are we in? May? If she makes another $40,000 in the next 4 months, and another $40,000 each quarter, she's going to make $120,000 a year just off of Facebook. Not counting the stars, or I mean, not counting the gifts and the hidden away money that people are sending her. She's honed her skills so well to use certain words and certain behaviors. And when she's talking and she says to her supporters, do you hear me? Do you hear me? I've pointed this out in the past. This is a way to brainwash them. This is her way of getting their focus and saying, look, I'm telling you, without coming right out and saying it. Narcissists hone their skills of mind control and how to manipulate people and how to own people. How to own people. Seriously. I didn't mean to get distracted off on my own stories. But people, I know I harp on YouTube all the time. I know I'm all the time saying, go look this up on YouTube. Maybe that's because that was where I found my click, when I went through this. When I was hit full in the face with all this stuff from my ex. And not understanding what was going on. Not being able to figure it out. And I've talked about this, I've told this story so many times, but I typed in the phrase, people with a fake life. I typed that into Google one day. Because I had been around him earlier that day. And he was putting on this fake, phony facade. And all the times I had been around him, I had picked up on little things about him that I felt were off, I picked up on little behaviors. And even the mistreatment of me emotionally, even the way that he tried to destroy me. Tried. He didn't succeed. But he did succeed with others. And he's out there right now succeeding with somebody. Hopefully they come to their senses before it's too late. But anyway, it led me to a YouTube video. And when I clicked on that YouTube video and I started next video, there's a world of information out there. You may not find it on YouTube. Maybe YouTube's not for you. Go to Reddit. Go look up on these medical journals. If you're looking for the medical terminology about all this. And by the way, I'm not professional when it comes to all this stuff, but I will tell you this. No matter what a doctor writes it down in a book, no matter what a psychologist or a psychiatrist or an analyst or a counselor writes down in a book and might be a bestseller, Dr. Phil or whoever, you cannot redeem a narcissist and you cannot rehabilitate a narcissist. Or a psychopath or a sociopath. A serial killer who goes out here and rapes and murders numerous people cannot be rehabilitated. They're not gonna go and take someone like this Ed Kemper or some of these serial killers throughout the years and release them back out into society. Just say, oh, they did their 20 years in prison and they learned their lesson. Because it's ingrained in their brain. It's a part of their disturbance of their mind. That's the best way that I can explain it. And I'm not saying that they have a mental illness. They have voices in their head, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're schizophrenic. There's a difference there. Schizophrenia is a real mental illness. The voices that a psychopath or a sociopath hears is their own voice telling them, you can get away with this, you know. You can kill this woman. You can chop her up into little pieces. You can rape 4 kids on the street this week, and you can get away with it. Nobody's ever going to be able to outsmart you or outwit you. This is what I'm talking about. And a narcissist may not be as far as a murderer, but in their mind, they're sitting there like, you can go out here and screw around on your wife. You can screw these 3 women down the street today, and your wife will never know, and their husbands will never find out. And you can get away with it because you're that good looking, you're that smart, you're that sexy, you're that hot, you're that desirable. No woman can resist. And you can whoop every man's ass anyway. You're the toughest guy on the block. So nobody's going to F with you. Go out and do what you want to do. Then when they get caught, they're like, well, they came on to me. It was their fault. They're the ones that enticed me to do this. This is the reason that she blames these hater groups or awareness groups. I hate to say hater groups, even though some of us do become to that point that we do feel hatred. And it may not even be hatred for her as a human being, which she's not, by the way. But it's hatred of the whole situation, that she's manipulating these people and that they're so brainwashed and gullible that they're allowing it. That they know in the back of their mind that they're being misled. Some of them do. But they will continue to do what she asks of them because they don't want to be left out. This is the reason why a lot of people stay in a relationship with a cheater or with a manipulator or an abuser. Because they want the lifestyle. It's just like, look at this whole thing with Johnny Depp and this woman. She wanted the lifestyle. She treated him like shit. I'm sure that he probably wasn't all that great to her either, but I mean, how can you be? I'm sure, and I know a lot of people are Team Johnny, and I am too. I'm Team Johnny. But I see his own faults as well. I'm not saying he's perfect. He probably does suffer from alcoholism because or at least he drinks too much. Let's put it that way. And I'm not saying he brings this on himself, but it's a very toxic relationship between the both of them. Ed stays with her because of the money. Ed stays with her because of what she brings in. Ed doesn't need to work. If he's willing to be her little puppet boy, and apparently he is, he doesn't need to work. And this whole thing about their home being so dirty and messy and looking so run down on the outside. It's all for effect. Look how poor we are, guys. We don't have a big, nice brick house. Look how hard up we are. We can barely afford to eat. Look at our car sitting out there. It's just a piece of junk. We can't even afford to go buy anything decent to drive around town. It's all an act of her narcissism. She in her mind, in her narcissistic mind, she should have been allowed to draw food stamps and still get all this money from these people on the internet. She should have still been allowed to work for Unique and go behind the scenes and have people send her money, and she should have been able to sell the products directly to them from her own collection and the money come to her instead of using and following the rules, because the rules don't apply to a narcissist. I mean, come on, man. And we all know who that's all about, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, you can break the rules that you yourself help put into place. And they don't apply to you. Because you're above this. You're above these people. How dare these people expect you to be on their level? But she is willing to live in squalor. She is willing to live in filth. And it may not even be that it's all part of the act. Lamps, I don't know. And then you have just people that are just nasty. Like this one that I watched the other day, when she was just taking, when she would finish eating, she'd just sling her food containers up on the stack of trash. Cockroaches crawling everywhere. Piss ants crawling everywhere. She was a diabetic, and she would use her insulin needles, and instead of putting them in a sharps container, she'd just throw them in the stack of trash. And she had children, and I don't know how the state had not taken these children from her. I don't know who would mentally subject children to live in that kind of disgusting. Basically, this woman lived in the trash dump. That's all it was. And they get to a point that even their bathrooms become so hoarded that they can't even get in there. They'll cut them out a little path to the toilet, and the water, sometimes their house becomes so, like, they can't get to their water pipes and things, so the water just quits working. They can't even take baths or flush their toilet. So they're pissing and shitting in a bag and throwing it out on the stack of, you know, or taking it down to the trash dump. So she may have some of that. But here's the way I see CMC. She's too busy working to clean her house. See, in her mind, she has to continue this little facade that she's so busy and she's working so hard. I look at me, guys. Look at me on my computer. Look at me on my laptop. I'm typing. I'm looking at all this stuff that I have to get done. I don't have time. I don't have time to clean my house. I don't have time to do something with all this junk that's stacked up 6 foot high in my bedroom. You know? But she doesn't need to, because it helps her to pass. She knows what she's doing. Do you think it's an accidental coincidence that she sets her camera a certain way so it shows a stack of cans or the kitchen and a stack of food and stuff stacked up on the kitchen table? Or she walks outside and you can see all the junk sitting around outside on her porch. It's not an accident. She doesn't care to have people talk about her being nasty and disgusting and never cleaning, because it's attention. It's attention regardless of it being bad attention. and she's getting talked about, that just helps her. That helps her with the ones who believe her stories about how abused she is. You know, I'm so abused by these people. I can't even go out. Me and Ed can't even go out down the street without someone threatening to kill me. I'm getting messages every day from people saying they're going to slit my throat. This stuff about the court. Chad was talking about this on his live last night. I didn't get to watch all of it because my computer was, or my internet was glitching. We were having storms here, so I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. But he's talking about how they take an ink pen and they write stuff in. She could, and I predicted that she would do this. I haven't seen her do it, but it was my thought that she might say that was screenshot. That was a screenshot by the haters. They got a copy of her court report and then they wrote that in and printed it, you know. I'm in agreement with Chad. I have never in my life seen any kind of legal court documents with handwritten stuff added in by hand. Why was that later added in by hand? Why wasn't that in the stenographers, you know, the transcribers' original report or original copy or whatever? Was it pointed out to the judge or whoever that part of her soliciting was begging for stars? So according to the rules and the guidelines, I guess, by Facebook and TikTok for these gifts and stars, she claims that she gets all these emails asking to promote. I have a Facebook page that I'm an admin on. I sometimes get emails from Facebook saying, reach more people. And they'll offer you like money. They'll offer you like a $5 coupon or whatever discount to promote the page. That means that if I want to like pay for it to reach more people, like to sponsor, you know how you get these ads through your Facebook news feed and it says sponsored? That's just people that are paying to promote that page. They're paying to reach more people. I don't do that because I figure I don't do much with the page at all anyway, and it's not monetized or anything like that, so I'm not going to take money out of my pocket. And people, yeah, I might be willing to do that. But I've never once received, and like I said, my page is not monetized, so I don't know what the people that are monetized get. If anyone should hear this and you know a creator that is monetized, ask them. What emails does Facebook send you? Does Facebook send you emails saying you have to promote those stars or you're going to lose them? You have to have paid events or we're going to take that away from you. See, on the page that I have, that I'm an admin on, I can create events. I never have. But I don't have to charge anybody for those events. You can create an event on your own profile Facebook page. But you don't have to charge people for it. You can create an event. Like, I think I created an event one time inviting people to a baby shower one of my relatives was going to have. But she thinks that the rest of the world is too stupid to figure all this stuff out. And she knows that a lot of her supporters and followers are not internet savvy. They don't. Some of them cannot even figure out how to start a PayPal or a Cash App. She has to instruct them step by step. So that tells you that they're not really sure how this stuff even works. To it like a duck to water, and others are a little bit more like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing here, you know. There's things on the internet that I don't know how to do either. But anyway, I've talked long enough, and I just wanted to kind of come on here and give my opinion about everything. I haven't really been talking about it a whole lot. I kind of agree with Chad. I mean, I think Chad and I are like long lost cousins or something, because we have a lot of similar thoughts on this. It's really damaging. I saw someone in on the screen on the. Get my thoughts gathered here. I saw someone comment yesterday when on the stream, on the live stream, that they couldn't watch her because it was when she was like getting so giddy and excited, and this crescendo was coming up, you know, because she was about to achieve. She was like up in the 80s percentages, you know, 86 or whatever, and she's getting really buzzed out. And they're talking about, look at how high she is right now. It's like a rush to her. It's like a high. You can see the change in her eyes. She's not going to stop and say, I'll come back later, guys. She says to them, I'm not leaving and I'm not ending this live until I get my fucking money. She might as well just say it outright like that, because that's what she means. But she says it. Come on, guys, we've got to achieve this. Come on, we can do it. And someone commented and said, what do we get? We can do it. All of us together, what do we all get if we achieve this goal? You don't get shit. You get money taken out of your account, and she gets to go down to Applebee's with Ed and have a damn, I don't know, fried pickle or something. But someone commented and said, I can't watch it tonight. She's triggering me. And it does trigger us. It triggers people. There have to be people watching her who are actually her followers, who also have to get triggered by certain things. Do these people all watch her and just never see anything going on, you know? Do they never think to themselves, wow, this is really inappropriate, immature behavior? These older people, everybody talks about some of her followers are older and they just are lonely and older and don't have anybody. They've raised children and they've raised grandchildren, and they've probably had some smart mouths and some backsides in their life. And they've probably gave them a good slap on the butt or set them down in the corner or whatever. So they can't see that in her, that childishness, that demand, that temper tantrum, like a child would throw at Walmart if they don't get a toy. I was at the grocery store yesterday, like I said, and I was noticing at the checkout, it's a real narrow. When you walk through between the two checkouts, there's just enough room for you to walk in there with your cart. And I was noticing as I'm standing in line, down at the bottom of these two shelves is all kinds of gum and candy and these bright colored little treats, candy and gum and stuff. Well, they do that because they know that you're going to be standing in that line, and it's such a narrow, tight little spot that there's really nowhere to go. And your kids are there looking at these, Mommy, 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 I want some candy and some gum right now. And if you say, no, we're not buying that, they start to get more agitated. They start to demand, they start to cry, Mommy, I want some gum. Or they start throwing a temper tantrum. That's CMC. That's CMC. She's that little child, but she's not an innocent little child. She's the bad seed little child. Demanding, I want that candy right now. You all should give me this candy. I need it. I deserve it. I work hard for it. And they're all like, okay, well, you know, just like the mother may give in to the crying child, the temper tantrum, foot stamping child, because they don't want to create a scene in the store. They want to get their groceries bought and paid for and get out. Once they get the kid outside, they may bust its butt, but then that's their fault because they gave in. Let the child throw the temper tantrum. Let them lay on the floor and scream and kick and cry and puke and piss themselves. They'll get over it. So many, oh, my dear little Tom, I've got to take him to the psychiatrist. No, you got to take him out back and bust his ass and tell him to sit down and he ain't getting no candy. That's what people need to do to her. They need to say to her, listen, you're not fooling nobody. Stop throwing your little temper tantrums. But they're just like, oh, like Crystal. Oh. And they're like bowing, like oh, our queen has walked into the room. Let us bow our heads. I don't get them. I don't understand them. I don't know. But I know it triggers people. And I know it's hard on people mentally and emotionally that have struggled with abuse, with drug addiction, with watching a parent they may have a step parent who manipulates the whole family, or that may be their own real parent who manipulates the whole family. They may have a brother or sister that always got their way because the mom and dad just didn't want to deal with the fighting and arguing. That's CMC right there. And she talked about how the other day, I don't have any family except for a few, except for this one and this one and this one and that one. I don't have any family. Well, my opinion is that the family that she's talking about are the ones that have enough sense to know to avoid her, not to invite her to the gatherings. They know the lies that she spews out. They're sitting at their own house watching her when she's live, and she's going on about all these stepdaddies that she's had. They all know the truth behind the scenes. They all know what's going on. They've lived through it. They've seen it from the time she was probably, my guess, around 11 or 12 years of age. That's the age that I predict that I have this, that I can see in my mind's eye, I guess you could say, like a psychic. I don't mean that really, I'm just saying. I predict that it was around that time, 10, 11, 12. Mama Con has gotten involved with this new guy. She's had this brother with this new man. CMC, always, my mom's my best friend. I tell my mom everything. Me and my mom spend all this time together. I love my mom. I love her. I love her. I love her. She's mine, 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 mine. This is her as an adult. And the stories that have been flowing around through all these pages is that her grandparents mostly raised her. Because Mama Con was young, out doing her thing. Whatever she was out doing, I don't know. But the stories are, and they could be untrue stories, I don't know. But she probably did beg for her mother's attention. She probably longed for her mother's attention. She figured out how Mama Con would feel guilty. She could guilt trip her into doing whatever she wanted because she would throw these little temper tantrums. You went out and didn't take me. You didn't get me what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. As a child, she was doing this. Now, along comes the new papa and the new brother, and that takes Concon's attention. The new man has got her attention. The new baby has got her attention. And CMC's over here like, hey, remember me? 10, 11, 12 years of age. So she starts to exhibit behavior to get attention, the way all narcissists will do. They will either throw temper tantrums, They will break things. They will cuss and scream and accuse. They will cheat. They will lie. They will steal. They will be boisterous and loud in public, create this big scene in front of everybody, or they will not give you any attention at all. They'll turn their back, and they won't listen to what you have to say. They will ignore you, and that's, for a lot of people, that's even worse than the screaming. See, because you can, when you learn your role in a narcissist's life and you see them starting to exhibit the behaviors, you know when to pull back. You know when to kiss their ass and be nice and be stoic and be available to them in whatever capacity it is that they're, the attention that they're needing from you. You learn to give it. And you learn when to keep your mouth shut. And you learn when to sit back and not say anything. You learn when to give them the attention that they need. And when they don't give you the attention that you need, you either learn how to walk off and leave it alone, or you learn how to, please, honey, please, what have I done wrong? Please let me help you. Please look at me, look at me, look at me. And there you go. That's a relationship with a narcissist in a nutshell. Whether it's a boyfriend, a husband or wife, or whether it's a brother or sister, a coworker, or a parent or whatever, your role is to do their bidding, give them whatever they ask for. Don't rock the boat, and don't question them. But then they will create this scenario where you have to. They will make you feel like you're at fault. It's all your fault that all this is going on. Had you not said anything or acted the way you did, had you gotten home when you said you would be home and you weren't 1.5 seconds late, if you spent the whole day cooking this big dinner with like 4 courses and 3 different desserts and everything's perfect, they will find something wrong with it. They're not hungry. They ate on the way home. This wasn't what they wanted for dinner. Or they'll eat it and then they're like, yeah, well, this could have tasted better and that was overcooked and the wine wasn't right or whatever. And you're over there like, well, next time I better do better. Next time. And you feel like shit. You feel, oh my God, I've worked so hard and look how they're treating me. Nothing I do is good enough. Well, no, nothing you do is going to ever be good enough. And that is for the supporters. Go make another account, guys. She says that to them all the time. Well, that means go make another account and sign back up so I can get that extra bonus from you. And then you'll be in my supporters in not only your old account, but your new account. So that's double the money that's going to come out of your bank account and into mine every month. All these people, these haters, and they're coming at you. Go make a new page, guys. Go make a new fake profile and come back. Do it because the haters are going to come into your inbox and say horrible things about me. No. She's doing it to manipulate them into believing that so that she gets 2 or 3 times their money. And they can't figure that out. And I did not mean for this video to go for exactly 1 hour. But, anyway, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on all this. And I agree that sometimes it's good for people to take a little break, because I do see people who go a little bit too far with it. Like someone said last night, if 150 people a day are calling the Breathitt County Court and saying, she's online right now, she's begging for stars. They're going to say, listen, we've got other things going on here in this court. This whole county is not dedicated to her. It's not a Crystal Collins hotline. They don't give two shits if she's begging for stars, people. Get that through your head, okay? They want her to make that money because it's coming to them. As long as she's begging, as long as she's getting that money from stars and from supporters, they're going to get their money, and that's all they care about. That's all they want is for her to pay and be held. Well, I won't say that they want her to be held accountable, because if they wanted her to be held accountable, they would have done something 6, 10, 12 years ago. They would have done something at $15,000 instead of $40,000, you know. But now they see that she's actually got a viable source of income through Facebook and through TikTok, and they're going to stand back and let her roll. They're probably watching her on their laptop or on their phone at work, and they're probably going, come on, Crystal, come on, you almost got it, girl. Come on, sister. You almost got it. And then they're cha-chinging all over the courthouse because they're going to get paid. They're going to get their money coming in. So all these people wasting their time calling the courthouse, they're sitting there going, well, what do you want us to do about it? She's on unsupervised probation. She can come and go as she pleases. She doesn't have to be drug tested. They're not coming into her home to check out and see if she has got food in the refrigerator. She doesn't have any kids in the home. They don't care. They don't care if she's driving without a license. They've let her run wild in that county for the last 37 years. They're not going to start now. And the only reason that they did this with this child support is because so many people were sending stuff in to higher authorities. People were starting to send stuff into Daniel Cameron's office, the Attorney General of Kentucky. They were sending stuff in over Breathitt County's head. So Breathitt County was starting to realize, we're being made to look bad here. We're not doing our jobs. And you know what? We're running for re-election this year, yeah. The county attorney, I better get on the ball here. I'm running for re-election, and I got a lot of people asking a lot of questions. So I better be doing something, you know. Because all these people been sending all this stuff in saying, look, she's making all this money, and you're sitting there letting her pay $25 a week, which she wasn't even doing. She had $25 a week to go out here and buy cigarettes and pizza, but she wasn't paying her child support. Let it go. Haven't seen it yet. But I will repeat myself, and anybody who's ever listened to me knows what I'm going to say. She is never going to change. She is a narcissist. She's never going to change. She will only change victims. She will change how she goes about victimizing people. She will figure out new ways. She will beat the system. She's been beating the system all her life. She knows every little trick in the book, and the ones she don't know, she'll learn. She will never straighten up. She will never stop doing this. She will be 75-year-old if the internet still exists. She will be on there. And in 5 years, when this probation's up, oh my God. When this probation's up and she's paid this child support off, look out, Jackson. Look out, internet. She's coming hot. She's coming in clutch. And on that note, I'm going to say thanks for listening. If you stuck around, I didn't mean for this video to run so long.